I'd like to think that civic engagement is in the DNA of Penn. And this goes back to Ben Franklin, our founder, who really thought about creating an academy that would educate the youth of Pennsylvania, because he didn't imagine having what Penn has become, so that they would have both the inclination and the ability to serve their society, humankind, as well as their family and their friends.
Penn is the Ivy League school to do service. No other school is as immersed in its community as Penn is, and so that's what really drew me here.
We need people to sort of re-energize the public service sector and to come in as young people and to make a difference and try to make a difference. And that for me was what kept me going all summer when I was working for a nonprofit.
We need to have people who recognize that it is necessary, not just like to be complacent with what is currently happening. And that made me appreciate Civic Scholars that much more, because the whole idea behind it is that there needs to be a change in the status quo and there needs to be a change in what's happening.
When I was in college one summer, I worked in Boston to build a playground in what was a very poor and devastated community. And I had a great time, and it was really satisfying. We built a beautiful playground. The Boston Redevelopment Association supported us. It turned out that the next year the playground was just totally leveled for a redevelopment project that the neighborhood hated. And I learned two things. One is how satisfying it is to do community work, because it really was and the second is you can't stop at just doing community work. You have to take into account the larger political situation and also become a citizen in the full sense of the word.
And one of the things that I really like about Penn, and one of the things that I think is really important about all the Civic Scholars, is that we take a much more holistic approach to how you can impact a community. So you look at, you're not just going and a one-time service commitment where you're just going and cleaning up a neighborhood or cleaning up a park and then walking out. Those things are good and those things have a huge impact, but I think the important thing about Civic Scholars is that they look at, a sort of long-term, like they would not only just go into a park and clean it up, but think of, how can we design ways to get this community back off its feet? Why is this park dirty? What factors are behind that? Do the kids need to be, could we start an after-school program to get the kids involved?
What do you think Penn needs to do to be true to our ethos of encouraging and educating students to be civic-minded and civically engaged?
Personally, I think one way that we can get more students incorporated is for them to start seeing it more as an opportunity. Because some people, they don't value clearly, community service and the impact that it can have. So if they don't value it, then let's frame it in a different light.
Today's lunch was an amazing opportunity to engage. It was particularly beneficial to see kind of what President Gutmann's views are on these issues of civic engagement, on the need for a university to become engaged with the overall environment that we're in, to not see the community as a separate entity, but rather as a partner, as we move forward, in educating youth.
These are young men and women who have done uncommon work during their high school years in terms of founding organizations, moving their communities. And they are, if you go into their files, there are mayors, there are city councilmen who are writing on their behalf about these young people who at the ages of 14 and 15 were just going above and beyond simply tutoring or raising money here or there or going to a soup kitchen. They were founding programs. Any number of these young people have actually founded programs that now exist permanently in their communities or in their schools.
What has been remarkable to me in the last couple of years is how students have been out front
on issues of environmental sustainability. They're the ones who have been researching and putting things together, and I think they've pushed the faculty on this. So
And
I'd
the
say,
president.
And the president.
Oh yeah, you have very persuasive capacity. I couldn't do what I'm doing on the environment, making Penn one of the leaders in environmental sustainability, unless I had students behind me. Your passion allied with your reason and your activism makes it possible for me as president to do some of the things that make Penn a leader in civic responsibility.
Regardless of what background you're from, regardless of what school you're affiliated with, what major you're interested in studying, there are opportunities to serve. That is the creed that we live by as civic scholars and that we seek to promote within the rest of the Penn community.